Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this review I'm very excited to be showing you the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Leonardo from NECA. This is the quarter scale figure from the live action film, which was just fantastic, and these figures have proven to be fantastic. This is the third one of the bunch, and my favorite turtle, so I'm very excited to show you this. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alrighty, this guy stands at just about 17 inches, pretty darn close. I know you can't see that, it doesn't look like that on camera. I get people saying this all the time. You don't know how to measure stuff. No, it's the perspective from the camera. It's the parallax and the perspective. It's 17 inches tall, almost exactly the top of his head, which makes him just shy of, well, he's just about 43 centimeters. So definitely a good size. I don't have my other ones handy right now to compare them. They're actually all packed up, so I can't talk about that, but once I get the fourth one in, I'm hoping to be able to have all four of them together in the review for you guys. But I will tell you, the size is fine as an individual thing. I just don't know how he stands up. If they're all the exact same height or not, I can't say. But I think they're going to be all the same height. So this guy, much like all the other ones, there's not really anything new to say other than they did it again. Same level of quality, same level of finish, same type of details. We still have the pleathery belt, which is just so nicely done. I guess it's technically not pleather because like these aren't real little buckles or straps or anything. So I guess it's molded somehow. I don't know what kind of plastic they use to mold it like this, but it looks like pleather and it's very nicely done. You get the nice paintwork throughout, the little straps and things, the little rivets. Same thing's true for all of the elbow pads and things. You get the little eyelets painted and just looks so good. And it's especially worth noticing the straps on the back here for the sword scabbards. Looks very, very nice. You just see the different colors of paint, and then the clean paintwork for the little ties and things looks so good. And this is a good time to point out the shell has really nice paintwork to match the texturing, and then the skin, of course, lots of shading and detail work with the spots and like I said, the shading and highlights. It just looks really, really nice. There's a little bit of a wash going on throughout. Looks like they hopped right out of the screen. Very, very well done. The blue for the bandana is painted nicely with some nice shading, and then we have the what is that called? Nylon? Not nylon. Spandex. It's a spandex material. At least I'm pretty sure it's spandex. It's stretchy and it doesn't fray, so I'm pretty sure it's spandex. But anyway, it's a very nicely done bandana. Happy about that. We do have a little bit of the blue plastic showing back there, just like on Raphael. His was red, of course. I'm not sure what's up with that. I've heard some people say they didn't have that issue, so I'm going to have to try to hide it on Raphael, but on Leo's it's probably okay. No big deal there. So very, very aesthetically pleasing. You can see the eyes are painted very nicely. However, mine does seem to be looking up just a little bit. I'm wondering if that's the same for all of them, or if mine is just looking up on accident, and I should try to track one down that doesn't have that. But regardless of the orientation of the eyes, you can see that they're nice and glossy, and you get that really nice paint job that just makes them look like they're real. So good. His mouth is closed this time, so we don't have any teeth to look at, but everything else is just fantastic. I guess the last detail worth mentioning is that the fingernails and the toenails are painted. They have the different color on there, and it looks good, so I'm very pleased with it. The overall aesthetic is just fantastic. And the sculpt, we do have the unique biceps. I know Raph and Donatello have the weird anatomy on their biceps and triceps. Leo and Mikey have the more natural anatomy, and they did that accurately based on the movie. So very, very good job. Big props to NECA for getting those details. I was real worried about that when they first came out, so I'm happy about that. Now in terms of accessories, we have the two gripping hands that come on him in the package. They have horizontal hinges on them. We have the same hands with vertical hinges also, so that's going to be really helpful for posing with the sword. We have a hand with kind of like a really wide grip, which will be useful for one of the accessories. We have one hand with a pointing finger, and then we have two hands that have different loose kind of neutral poses or pizza holding hands. It's up to you however you want to use them, but you can use them. They're different. And of course we do have his two swords, which are very nicely detailed. They're sculpted well and they're painted very nicely. One of mine is a little bit warped right out of the package, but it seems to me that they used a soft enough plastic so that they don't break easily, and so that means I should be able to heat them up and straighten them out. So that's a good thing. We do have one slice, very nicely sculpted and painted pizza. And then lastly, we have the TCRI container. I do believe it was TGRI in the movie, but that's a rights type of issue. So I think that's okay. Actually, I'm not sure they switched to TGRI until the second movie anyway, and they never mentioned it in the first, so whatever. I know some people that'll probably bother them, but I don't really care either way. They're both canon as far as I'm concerned. So good accessories. And then we can probably talk about the back a little bit in terms of the swords. Not sure how they're going to fit. Kind of curious. Let's see how that goes. I haven't tried this yet, so we're going to be doing it live, only recorded. So let's see. We're going to put the sword in the way it should go. Let's see how it fits. Oh, it's nice. It's very smooth, not too tight, not too loose. I'm happy with that. Very, very good. Maybe a little high on his back. Like, that looks like it's really high on his back. I'm not positive about that. I'd have to check the movie to see, but realistically speaking, they would have to be way lower in real life for him to be able to unsheath them. Even with the cutout here, that's a really, really high scabbard. So maybe not the best situation in the world. I'm not sure if it's accurate. If it is, then obviously I can't complain. They made it look like the movie, so that's okay. And if it's not, then that's a bummer. But I'm not going to pose him with those in his back anyway. They're going to be either in his hands or not there at all. So no big deal. So let's get these guys out of the way and talk about the articulation. Though it seems to me to be pretty much the exact same as before. It looks like there might be one tweak. So let's do this. So the head is on, I believe, a double ball peg. It doesn't really want to move like a double ball peg for me, but I do get really good range out of what is there. So it can look up, it can look down. Obviously, we can rotate side to side, but we can also lean it side to side. So that's pretty good. Like, you can really just move the head around very nicely. It's much better than Donatello. His was very stuck. I think Raph's was actually pretty good, if I remember correctly, and his is also very good. For the shoulders, it's pretty much the same. They're very stiff, but you can raise them up almost horizontally. So I don't know if I remember the other ones being quite so easy to go up. I think they probably stopped a little bit sooner, so that's a good thing. Of course, you do get the rotation. Get it back down. You do get the rotation. It is at an angle due to the sculpt, but you should be able to make that work. They definitely went more for aesthetics than high level of articulation range, so I think that's okay. There is no bicep swivel, but you do get a swivel down here in the elbow at the top and also at the bottom. So if you need to rotate the arm around, you can do that, and you do have the double hinged elbow. And this is one thing that I noticed. It seems to me like when they created this new upper arm, they might have increased the range of the articulation a little bit. It feels to me like that's a tighter bend than before, right? I'm pretty sure they weren't able to go 90, and now they are. So that's pretty fantastic, or at least now he is. The elbow pad is an adjustable piece, not very adjustable, but it does adjust. I believe it's on a ball peg, maybe a hinged ball peg. I can't remember anymore. It could be a double ball peg. Can't really see in there to see, but it does move around, so that's pretty cool. And then, of course, the wrists. We have the soft wrist pad or wrist strap right here, but you can see the hinges work very nicely, nice and smooth, and the full rotation. For the torso, we do still have the same issue that we had before in that it's just kind of floppy. It's supposed to be a ball peg, so you can rotate him around a little bit and lean him a little bit, but he's mostly just going to flop around, so that is definitely a bummer. I don't think it's really going to be that much of a detriment because he is held in place by his shell for the most part, and as long as you don't lean him around too much, it doesn't go on its own, so I think that'll be okay. Now for the hips, we have your standard ball hinge hips, which is great because if you want to, you can easily put him in a kicking pose. No problem at all, despite being so massive, so that's really nice. You can bring the legs forward as well. Wow, it's very stiff on this guy. Oh, wow. I'm not even going to try to do any more. That feels like it could break. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's going to break, but that's a very high-pitched ratcheting sound, and that's not generally a good sign. But you can normally get the legs out very far, maybe one more notch from that, so maybe yours won't be quite as tight. But even still, they move forward pretty well, and you can see the shell just kind of pinches in. Yeah, I don't think it's going to actually break, but I don't want to force it. When you have this much leverage on something, it's easy to break even strong plastic, so just be a little cautious. You do get a thigh swivel that works very nicely, so that's really good. And then the knees are essentially the same as the elbows, except I'm pretty sure it's just the one joint. You only get the one hinge out of the knee, so it is definitely a little bit more limited. Oh, wow, there we go. It's a little stiff. You don't quite get 90 degrees out of it, so don't expect to be putting him in any crazy poses. And you do get to move the knee pad around a little bit, just like before, just like the elbows. It slides around. It'd be nice if it could slide up farther to hide that joint. but it really can't. So that is a bit of a bummer, but it's definitely not a deal breaker. I mean, it's just, we're already getting so much for the money. I feel silly even mentioning these things, but we do have to mention them because it is part of the review. And then the last thing, for the ankles, we have just a ball peg. And it's a little stiff in some directions and loose in others. So you can rotate it. It'll lean forward a little bit. It'll lean back a little bit. And it'll give you a little bit of an ankle rocker, but not that much. So just like before, it's a really, really nice figure. You're getting way more than your money's worth on it. But it doesn't have, it's not perfect. It does have some flaws. And I mean, like I said, $100 for this is just ridiculous. It's absolutely crazy that they're able to do that. So I am more than okay with the flaws, and here are the limitations, because it's just incredible how nice these figures are for the price point. And the size, it's unheard of. So easily, definitely 100% recommend it, but it does have limitations, so now you're aware of those at least, and I've done my job. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff, so make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and in the meantime, keep collecting.